It's time now for 3 News Now. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney.
Hey, Stephanie.
Hello, Laura, Matt, and Isabel. I want to say thank you to everyone who hung out with us last night during our Election 2023 streaming special. Now, if you missed it, you can still watch it on the WKYC YouTube page, and there's a lot of insight in there worth seeing from our guests. For example, we closed things out at the end of the night with comments from Democratic Senator Kent Smith and Republican Lee Weingart on abortion access being guaranteed in Ohio. Here's what they had to say.
A great victory for Ohioans. They spoke loudly today that they want to keep, they want to make their own healthcare decisions based on their own moral code and not have politicians in Columbus make these decisions for them.
I think the General Assembly has to listen to the voters. As Republicans, we need to think about our message on abortion. I guess my hope as a Republican is this takes abortion off the table and we'll get back to issues that really matter to families, pocketbook issues like jobs and taxes.
About 2.2 million people voted to pass Issue 1, and there's been some talk from Republicans about trying to undo this, but you cannot do that unless you put it to a vote again before the Ohio people. Issue 2, however, slightly different story there. So we're going to hear from Weingart again. He's explaining what he thinks is coming with respect to regulating adult use of marijuana here in Ohio.
The story on Issue 2 is probably not done yet because it's an initiated statute, not a constitutional amendment. So the General Assembly and the governor are free to revise, overturn, change in any way they wish the result tonight. We talked about earlier tonight, potentially they could double the tax from 10% to 20%. They could restrict the people who have access to marijuana. So I don't think the story is done yet on recreational marijuana, although I think it will be legal.
So basically, Lee told us last night he believes the details on how marijuana is regulated will change, and that could include anything from raising that 10% tax that Issue 2 calls for to limiting who can sell it and how many plants you can grow in your home. Just a couple examples there. And that actually brings us to our question of the day. If Issue 2 is just a jumping off point for legalizing recreational marijuana use for adults in Ohio, what changes would you make to improve the law? So we'd love for you to post your comment on the WKYC Facebook page. We'll talk about it during 3 News at 5. And this legislative initiative really does leave a lot of questions. So they do have a lot of things that need to be figured out. So we'll see what our Ohioans think should happen there.
Yeah, such an interesting conversation and so many people watching to see, like you said, in the coming weeks, what is this all going to look like?
Steph, thank you.
Of course.